Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways episode from the Tinnesz interview that I just posted this past Monday. That was such a special interview for me because if you have been in one of my fitness classes before, you know how many times I have played Legends Are Made, one of his songs, because it gets me so freaking hyped. And I was as hyped going in an interview with him in person, but then he actually blew me away. Like, I knew he was going to be a good interview, but he exceeded my expectations with the level of thought that he's had around his career and the importance of patience that has shown in his life and how he was able to be patient with putting in the reps and putting in the time and the writes and the singing over the last 17 years, having been in Nashville and finally leading to more and more and more success. I think that's just the theme of the entire episode, is that there is no shortcuts. And I'll get a little bit deeper into that when we get into the 3 takeaways. But before I get into the takeaways, if you guys are not subscribing to my Monday Motivation Trio 111 newsletter, you're missing out. You're not starting off Mondays how you could potentially be starting them off. Every Monday morning, I send one motivational quote, one inspiring video, and one badass workout to start your week off with a bang. I've been getting so much great feedback about how it's allowing people to start motivated, to start on a light note, and then they go into work as a better version of themselves to get along with their employees better, and then they finish Monday and they work out and they just feel like they crushed Monday, giving them some momentum going into Tuesday and the rest of the week. So make sure you go to nickcarrier.com/111-newsletter if you want your Mondays to be a little bit brighter and if you want to be a little bit more motivated during them. Again, nickcarrier.com/111-newsletter. But without further ado, let's get right into my 3 takeaways from Tinnesz. Number 1 is have long-term goals and take counsel from those who have been there before. Now, there's a really great story that he talked about how there was this moment where he did not take this publishing deal that he thought he had been working so hard to kind of potentially work up to. But then one of his mentors told him that you shouldn't be taking this publishing deal. And I can't remember all the details of why he shouldn't, but it's essentially like you don't have all the rights to your stuff if you take a publishing deal. And he knew that he wanted to have the rights to his stuff to be able to use it in different ways moving forward. And so he didn't take that publishing deal. And because of that, he was able to have much more and more success than he would have had he taken that. And he took the advice from others. But the only way that he could get the proper advice from others is because he had a long-term vision. He had a long-term goal for what he wanted to do, and he wanted to own all his stuff. And that way he was able to get the proper advice. So the idea is having a long-term goal, having a long-term vision orients your decision-making. Think about if you get into a car and you don't have a final destination. Which way would you turn? Which route would you take? You would literally have no idea if you had no final destination. A final destination orients your decision making. It allows you to determine which turns or which choices are going to be helpful in you getting closer to that final destination, and which turns or which choices are not going to be helpful. So again, it orients your decision making. Takeaway number 2 is there is no shortcuts. You have to put in the reps. You have to put in the time. He talks about how there's a distinct difference when they go into a songwrite between the person who knows what they're doing and the person who has been in plenty of songwriting sessions before versus the person who has not. And one of the only keys in order to be able to have the things that it takes is by just doing it more and more and more. It's not just like telling the person who's never done it before, like, you need to go in with this, you need to do this in order to be good at songwriting. It's like, no, you just have to put in the reps. You have to have a lot of experience with it. So don't be waiting for the quick success, because one of the things I love to say is that success is supposed to take time because you have to build the habits required to sustain that level of success. Because if you haven't taken the time, if you haven't built the habits, then once you get successful, you're going to lose it as quickly as it came. But if you take the time to build the habits, that way when you become successful, you'll have had the habits and established those routines that it takes in order to sustain that level of success. Takeaway number 3 is increase your chances for, quote, right opportunities. I loved his distinguishing phrases between good opportunities and right opportunities. And the way that you can make a good opportunity the right opportunity is by showing up as the best version of yourself for that opportunity. He talks about how he had a songwrite with someone, and before that songwrite, he prepared. He knew exactly who she was, exactly what her style was, and because he went in with a high level of preparation, he ended up, his whole career was almost made off of that situation. His life was changed because of his level of preparation for that opportunity. So before he went, it was a good opportunity, but he made it the right opportunity by showing up as his best self and showing up as his most prepared self. So the moral of the story is, the more you can show up to potential good opportunities as the best version of yourself, the more likely you are to land on the quote, right opportunity. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is have long-term goals and take counsel from those who've been there before. You need to have a long-term vision to help orient your decision-making so you know which choices and decisions will help you get closer to that and which choices and decisions will not. Takeaway number 2 is there is no shortcuts. You have to put in the reps. There's nothing that speaks louder than experience. If you can have experience and build the habits that it takes to sustain success, you're going to be much better off than if you just got success at the flip of a switch. And then takeaway number 3 was increase your chances for right opportunities. All of us have certain opportunities that we go into every single day, and we all have good opportunities that we go into maybe every single day, every week, every month, whatever it is. But that good opportunity can't transition to the right opportunity unless you show up as the best version of yourself for it. So when you're getting ready to go into a good opportunity, ask yourself, what do I need to be the best version of myself? Do I need to take a moment of silence and take some deep breaths so I'm not that nervous? Do I need to have a high level of preparation? What is it? Do I need to learn so much about the other person that I'm going to be meeting with? Like I know I'm getting a little bit further into this third takeaway, but I know that for me before a podcast interview, if I want to show up as the best version of myself, I need to be energetic. In order to be energetic, I need to make sure my night's sleep the night before is good. Same thing with if I am and when I'm going to the podcast interview. Another way I'm trying to be the best version of myself in it is I am fully prepared. If I'm interviewing somebody who's written a book, then I've read the book. I've watched YouTube videos on them. I've read articles on them, and I have fully prepared out kind of the arc of the conversation. Not that we're going to stick with that necessarily, but full preparation and energy are 2 things that I know I need to have in order to show up as the best version of myself before a podcast interview. So figure out what that looks like for you and your good opportunities. I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 takeaways. I hope you enjoyed the Sam Tinnesz interview that I posted this past Monday. You guys need to make sure you go back and listen to it if you have not yet already. You need to make sure you check him out on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube, all the places. You need to listen to Legends Are Made and all his other great music. Messages in these takeaways, messages in the interview with Sam Tinnesz are going to be the things that you need to do in order to get closer and closer to your best you.